All right, buddy, enough small talk. Let's get down to you. What is going on at 205 pounds, man? It's hard to follow, and I'm not looking to bag on John Jones. I do enough of that over here. But it's very hard to discuss the division without bringing up what John's saying. I mean, he's saying everybody in the world except I want to fight Dominic Reyes. Why?
It was obvious, man. That last fight was a dog fight, man. And I really pushed. I took it to him. I pushed him to his limits. I pushed him somewhere he's never been. He's never been outstruck. He's never been hurt like that. He's never had an opponent that wasn't afraid of him at all. It was something that he's not willing to do he's not willing to lose his belt for less than whatever $1 million. You know what I'm saying? He knows that belt is close to being lost. So he's doing whatever he can to avoid fighting me again. He'll go to heavyweight. I'll take my first loss at heavyweight, are you guys happy now? You saw me get knocked out by Ngannou, I think that's kind of what he's thinking. Do everything he can to avoid that, to keep his legacy, to keep his belt, and possibly go up to heavyweight, maybe beat Francis, and then, okay, now I can make a run at the heavyweight title. I think that's what he's thinking.
Give me some inside scoop. They're not booking you. I see that you and Blachowicz, by example, aren't fighting. So am I right to assume that they are at least trying to put you and John together? You got any inside info there?
Yeah, they're trying to make that happen, man. Dana said it a few times, even himself. He said, Dom's on board, I'm on board, but John's not. It's the same stories. Like directly after the fight, we try to get it re-signed. Let's run this rematch. Well, it's hot and the people are excited about it. Let's make some money. Everybody wants to see that fight. Everybody wants to see the rematch. They don't want to see John fight Yan and all that. They want the rematch. John tried to sweeten the pot by throwing Francis out there for people to try to be like, oh yeah, I don't want to film again. Let's see me fight Francis. But the UFC's on board. I'm on board. It's John.
So where is he with his sincerity that he is willing to walk away from the belt as opposed to face you next? I mean, are those just things you throw out in the moment, or is that something that you got to look at? Do you hold out and assume they can bring him to the table? I mean, mindset-wise, where are you at on that?
Man, I'm in almost the same place you are, man. I don't really know exactly what's going on. I don't know his real intention. All I know is what I can control, man, and I'm training. I'm in a growing phase right now, which is really exciting. In between fights, and I'm growing, and I'm getting better, and it's just getting worse and worse the more time they wait to rebook me.
I feel like we have to start off by addressing Conor McGregor because he retires immediately after this event. God forbid anyone else just get a microcosm of the limelight is how I felt. Did you feel the same way? Was it not a little bit ill-timed?
Exactly. 100%. Like, even if he means it, which I don't believe, even if he means it, to do it right after a show where an all-time great had another fantastic performance and there were all these great knockouts, really, you're going to interject yourself into that conversation when you don't have to, when you could have announced it the next week, the next day, even if you believe it, which I don't believe he believes it. I thought it was, let's say, in poor taste is the best way to put it.
Do you think he could have been confused by seeing someone defend a belt, which he's not done, and been unsure of how MMA belt lineage works?
It could be a lot of things. Which one it is, I don't know. What triggered this particular outburst, I guess, this announcement, I don't know. I've given up on trying to figure out what's in that guy's head and what he wants for the future. He just always wants to be in the news, which makes it increasingly less likely that he's actually retiring because they're addicted to the limelight. He's addicted to the limelight. He's not going to let it go.
What also interests me is, before this event, and it kind of flew under the radar, they acknowledged that the classic style, if you will, belt was no longer going to be utilized in competition, and we knew tonight would be the last, yesterday would have been the last night that we would have actually seen it with Amanda Nunes. So, to a degree, there is a concept of immediately any new fan that comes in is going to look at Conor, all respect to the champ, but those belts are no longer going to be resignated with someone that's not watched the sport within the last, handful of months or year.
Maybe, but his name recognition and his name value are off the chart. If any casual fan knows one name, it's Conor McGregor. People who have nothing to do with MMA know who the guy is. I don't think it's that. I don't know exactly what it is. His statement of his reason why is ridiculous. There are no good matchups for me at 55. It's not exciting right now. 55 is a Shark Tank. There are no bad matches for you at 55. There are none. There might be some you don't want. There might be no good ones that are what you like, which is a ton of money for somebody who's not exactly relevant in the top 10. But beyond that, I don't. His statement made no sense at all. It made none. So his reason for wanting to quit, there are no good matchups for me, is just stupid. That this division is an embarrassment of riches. The embarrassing part of the Conor McGregor fiasco of the last couple of years is he stayed away from a division that is full of fantastic matchups that fans want to see.
And I wanted to start with Khabib Nurmagomedov. A lot of people obviously aware that his father had fallen ill in Moscow, and wanted to get an update, if you have one, on what the situation is, his health status of Khabib's father.
Yeah, Khabib's father in Moscow, and like everybody know, and it's unfortunate, but Khabib is very strong, and his family is very strong, and his father is very strong, and he's in Moscow. We see him every day at the hospital, and he's improving. He's opened his eyes. He's responding a little bit. It's a good sign. Allah's in control. And God is in control right now, and we have faith. We have faith. He will be better. But at the end of the day, it's just really completely to just his health, how it's going to progress or not. But he's progressing, and we are very happy about this.
Yeah, well, that's great. Has Khabib been able to have a conversation with him, or has it just been his eyes have opened?
No, he just, I think he talked to him and he gave him eye gestures, smile. It's a great moment when I talk with Khabib, and he's been well taken care of by President Putin. Put a lot of great people, to make sure he's okay. And I think just being Khabib's father and Khabib's son gets it a little bit farther sometime, and we're grateful for all the help we got from President Putin and the hospital people, the military hospital. They have been very awesome to Khabib and his father.
And of course, that situation takes precedence. That's what's most important. But a lot of people, of course, are interested in how that's going to impact Khabib's next fight. And the UFC has said that they want to make that fight with Justin Gaethje, another one of your clients, in September. How is Khabib kind of approaching the decision of when to accept a fight, while this is going on in his personal life?
I think Khabib's father being not feeling sick, I think is motivated him more. He's training every day, 2 times a day. He's in camp already, and I think when me and him talked, and I said, "Hey, just get your mind off. Do what you need to do." And he's training, but the kid always training, man. He's a true mixed martial artist. Same for Gaethje. They both great guys. They're gonna fight. It's a dream fight. It's a real king versus king fight. You understand? This is not number 1 contender match. This is 2 kings, like prime of their career. They're gonna fight each other's, and everybody else is just gonna sit down and eat popcorn and buy the pay-per-views. And I see a lot of people complaining and see this. Just these 2 guys make the games on their knees. They make everyone humble. And I think the only way in this game to make everyone's humble, just step up. When the opportunity represents itself, step up. Take chances,
And I just feel the need to talk about this. Jon Jones came out first and said he was relinquishing his title and arguing with Dana White. And I saw somebody tweet, "Oh, I'm sure other organizations are making bids right now." Who is making a bid for Jon Jones? who can afford to pay that guy anywhere near what he's making in the UFC right now? No one. No one can. The UFC has a virtual monopoly on mixed martial arts in the United States. So Bellator is not going to go to Viacom and go, we need $10 to $20 million to sign John Jones, because that's what a contract of any length with him would take, at least. And they don't have that kind of capital laying around. They can't go to Viacom and go, hey, can we have $20 million to sign John Jones? Viacom's going to go, how are you going to make that back? You don't have a pay-per-view business structure. It's not like we can put him in a few pay-per-views and make all that money back. And obviously, the DAZN apparently not doing well right now. Who knows where Bellator is going to land? Let's, for argument's sake, say Showtime, which is right now the leading candidate. They're not going to make $20 million in subscriptions because they have John Jones. It's not going to happen. So they don't have the capital just sitting in a vault somewhere. And whatever entity they would go to get that capital would go, we're not going to make that back. What's hard for a lot of people to understand, and I've done a few shows. I did Mad Dog Radio for SiriusXM this week that are like sports channels that don't understand MMA, and they all say the same thing. They go, man, John Jones, all-time great. He can go wherever he wants. And I go, you're thinking like the NFL, where there are 31 other teams that'll take you. It doesn't work that way here. Like, they have this idea that great fighters can go anywhere and make money. They can't. It's the reverse of stick and ball sports, where Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, the elite, right? The Mount Rushmore of NFL players can go wherever they want. The better you get and the higher you go, the more options you have. In MMA, it's the other way around, where if you're starting out and you want to make $5 to $10 grand per fight, well, you know, a lot of promotions can pay that. A lot of promotions at various levels can pay that. You can main event a local show and make near that. You can get an opening fight on a big show and make near that. A lot of options when you're getting started. And that's why when you look at a fighter's record in their first 10, 15 fights, there are promotions all over the place. Because when you're making beginner money, you can fight pretty much anywhere. As you get to the elite level and you start making real money, very few promotions can afford that. And so it's this weird upside down logic that a lot of sports fans don't understand, is that the better you get, the fewer options you have. If you want to make $1 million per fight, in the US, it's UFC and Bellator. And Bellator, it's tough because they're much more judicious about where they're going to spend $1 million.